My name is Florence Kamel, and I'm from Goroka, and I've been working with Bilum for the past 15 years now. And but most of the time I try to find market for Bilum weavers. With suitcases of Bilums out there, nobody to find market for us, I had to find a way. And I believe in, there's always a way around things, and I do really believe in that. We went to Marketplace exhibition, and I was introduced to Caroline Sherman of Among Equals.
Among Equals is a social enterprise, and we're all about the women, helping the women weavers, empowering the women of the Highlands of Papua New Guinea, and their stories told through the age-old practice of Bilum weaving.
I was taught by my mother, and my grandmother taught my mother, so it has been passed on, so quite a long time.
In keeping with the traditional craft of Bilum weaving, we add to it with our pom-poms and tassels, and we do all these things, but we're retaining the knowledge that's been passed down through generations. And also the fibre, the whole process is really interesting, and we don't want to take away from that. We're really conscious that each Bilum tells a story, and they're amazing stories, and so we're gathering today actually to get the particular stories from the bags, because it means so much more when you know those stories and have that knowledge. When you're given a Bilum, it's such a magical thing because the weaver's heart has gone into weaving the Bilum, and they spend so long on this particular design that they've come up with themselves, these intricate, amazing designs. They don't do a pattern, they just come up with these incredible weaves themselves.
Caroline Sherman, she goes wild when she sees Bilum. She goes like, I want this, I want this, I want this. And she doesn't know how amazing she is when she goes like that, because for me as someone who is the leader, leading the women in Bilum, finding market, and for Caroline Sherman to just come out and say, where did she come from? Thank God someone is here to buy a Bilum.
What we're seeing with Bilum now, rather than just trading Bilum domestically between Papua New Guineans and some tourists that come, that we're seeing that there's international interest in Bilum. The money from the Among Equals Bilums goes directly into these communities and to the women who create the Bilums, who are probably some of the most vulnerable that I've ever met. And it's so critical that we find more buyers for Bilum, and we build this sector up in a really respectful and positive way.
Sometimes, when you have challenges and tough times where you just want to give up and say, okay, I'm going to give up. There's no hope. I just had to be strong. So what I did was I had to do something to make a promise with Bilum and the women that are behind me. Yeah, and I had to get this tattoo on me, which is the skin pig tattoo. So, skin pig it talks about the status of the women. And I have worked with women who are not recognized in communities, women who are single mothers, women who try to make ends meet and all this. So I had to tattoo the skin pig on me, so every time it reminds me, Florence, you don't have to give up. So I got this tattoo, the skin pig design, which is a traditional Bilum design. It's more like a promise between me, Bilum, and Bilum that it's the challenge that I have to take on. So even though I want to fall apart, I am reminded of the pain that I went through to get a tattoo and all this. So that's where I got it.
I think when you have shown the love by opening the doors like this, and there's money coming into their pocket, we see that it makes a difference in their lives. And they can see a food on the table, they can have a nice decent clothes to wear, and they can go to school. With the money they earn, they're paying for school fees, they're buying roofing iron, and they're buying piece of block of land so that they can have shelters. I'm so proud because I know that I can see the light coming at the end of the tunnel. I've left my job as a teacher, and I've just gone into this to help the mothers. As long as there's money coming in through the small sales, it makes a big difference in the lives of my mothers. And I'm proud to say that I don't need to go to university to earn a lot of money. No, a bilum is something that is making me happy and a smile on the face of my mothers. Yeah, so I'm so happy, you know. Like there's a saying in my culture that if I was a dog, I would be wagging my tail. You know, that's how I'm happy. So when I talk about this, I always have these tears coming. Because it's saving the lives of my women who have been struggling.
Many of the women live with a lot of domestic violence, and when I asked them what they wanted, they actually specifically asked for a safe place for them to come together to weave. Coming here and seeing what Florence has been able to build with the money from us is just like, it's incredible. At the moment we just have the framework. Next is the windows go in, and then we're putting a beautiful table inside and shelving and a stove so that she can cook for the women when they come over. It's a safe place, and it's the first one of its kind in PNG, so I'm thrilled with that. And we're here today to celebrate the opening of the space. To think that all these women, you know, we can be helping in some small way is so incredibly powerful, and we're all so proud of you. So thank you for letting me into your community and for helping in any way that I can. Thank you.
If you're buying a bilum through Among Equals, you're buying a bilum that has a very big downstream of that. It goes back to our village, our community. If there's one bilum benefits 10 to 15 people, it does a biggest impact. They wear new clothes. They have a warm blanket to cover in the night. So it is not just about charity, it's not about all this. You are giving business to us as weavers, and we are making business out of it. Business is not only big business with buildings and all this. It comes right down to the home that we have and we live in. And our experience is the greatest experience of a lifetime that we have with selling our bilums.